So yeah, it's gonna be a lot for you guys to explore, and yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying anything else other than we have actually got some really cool music.
That's pretty cool.
Good music. Yeah, I'm very happy to say we've got some good music planned for this. Yeah, for this one off. However, there's something we should say right off at the top. A very wonderful and happy birthday to Pierre Habib. Pierre is the host of our show. We use his office, his delightful gear. He's the creative engineer behind the lighting and the camera work and the streaming for our show. And we love him dearly, and he puts up with a lot of our shit. So thank you, Pierre, and happy birthday,
Happy birthday.
sir. If you guys want to know what Pierre wants for his birthday, it's all the Digimon merch that you could possibly manage. He loves Digimon. Don't even ask him; just send it to him. He'll know what it means.
We want to give everyone his address and personal info so they can send the stuff to him, right?
Exactly that. Yeah, PO box. No such thing. Physical address. Oh shit. So yeah, happy birthday, Pierre. We love you lots on that.
I definitely wouldn't be able to help if it were up to me to deal with any of the technical stuff. Just be filming it on the phone.
Exactly that. No, if I had to have a handle in it without Pierre, I don't know. I'd do it once and then age rapidly. My hair will fall out and whatever hair was left would be gray.
Hey.
Heart attack.
You managed the home game all right. That went pretty well.
Hey, thank you so much. And thank you so much to Bedlam, who's, I don't know, I hope my levels are... This is the first time in my life I've been told I'm quieter than Casey.
Yeah, no, usually I'm way down here.
Yeah.
I'm talking very loud.
Okay.
You can always turn us both up, and I'll just whisper the rest of the time.
Oh, no, I've got you guys on separate. I've got us on separate levels, so I just put me up there, and
all right.
Yeah, this is great.
I know your microphone looks better. Mine's just this thing.
I mean, honestly, it's just this little stick attached to my head. But anyway, today's episode. I don't know. Do you want to go off and handle this?
Oh, what we're going to talk about? So
yeah. Well, I don't know. We can just start off the episode. I did the happy birthday, Pierre.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That was my contribution.
Well, talking about just we were speaking about this briefly before we started streaming. The noir thing I'm very excited about, which I'm sure you didn't guess by the fact that you sent out the email, and I already was building a character on D&D Beyond in 30 minutes maybe. Still got a ways to go on it. I got to create a cool character and everything, but yeah, I'm very, very excited about it.
Oh, I'm glad.
I know today we talked about last week, kind of at the end, we were like, why haven't we talked about spells? And we're going to, I think, chat more specifically on spells. If something else adjacent, ancillary comes up, sure, we'll chat about that too. But Absolutely. It's not exactly like there's a real format to this.
We have been known to tangent.
But I guess, before we dive in, we had a really great show this weekend.
Oh man,
our guest was fantastic.
Colleen Kelly, man, what a ride! I'm a little embarrassed that I didn't think about asking her to come on board for it. If you guys didn't watch our most recent episode, we had our very first guest on the show called Colleen Kelly. If you listen to the Roll For It podcast, she was cast inside the season 2 of that. It's a brilliant premise of the show. She sums it up inside the episode a lot better, but just to give you a quick synopsis of like what they do, it's basically like right off of the bat, they roll a D100, and that determines what monster has to be incorporated into the episode that they're going to have to fight. So they have to fight a monster at random every episode, and then the episodes are edited down to like 30 minutes long. And that baffles me. I don't know how that's possible. Oh my God.
You probably just cut out all the characters going, what does this spell do? What do I have prepared?
A lot of the scrolling through D&D Beyond here.
Hey, that's why I'm excited to play Barbarian in our campaign. I get to go, how hard should I hit them?
Exactly. It's just who to whack and how hard do I want to whack them.
Indeed. Someone else gets the kill before me. I'm all upset about it. That kind of stuff. The typical Barbarian stuff.
Which does happen from time to time, unfortunately. But it was a great game, man. Like, it was awesome.
It was awesome.
Everyone's really falling into their characters really well. I'm really looking forward to the series of interviews that we're going to have coming up. You know, wrapping up the end of Act 1, we're going to have a nice little series of interviews with everybody. And, yeah, just us on the couch with a drink or two. And, yeah, enjoying talking about our characters, the campaign so far, our favorite moments, which for me, fuck me, dude, this last episode, and I've said this about her before, Annalicia is so goddamn funny, but there was one particular moment in this last episode where I had to like bite my cheek to stop laughing.
I was terrible. I was not staying in character even remotely with Colleen and her, and everybody was just. I think everybody was just doing great, and I was like an audience member for part of it because I could not stop laughing.
It was just, man.
I had a hell of a time.
Hey, that's good. That's what good games are about.
Right.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
However, for this session of DM Chats, my man, what are we going to be talking about tonight? I know I put it in the title, but your announcement makes it official.
Yeah, well, I mean, I already kind of said it, but yeah, we're going to talk about spells and spell-like things, things that have to do with spells. We could do a 20-part series just talking about spells because of all the different spells they are, the different ways you can use them and interpret them, and how many different interpretations there are out there, how contentious some of them can be, and just how awesome some of them are, and how creative you can be with the usefulness with a few of them. So, I mean, I guess as a jumping off point, unless you have something you wanted to break the ice with.
No, honestly, no. I think it's okay.
How do you, so to get us started, I guess, how do you feel about combat versus utility spells? Because there are plenty of both, and they are enjoyable for different reasons. There are some that would never, unless you're really creative, and I've seen some really creative uses with utility spells inside combat, but there's a lot of spells out there you wouldn't necessarily use in combat that are fantastic. Even down to the cantrip level, just fantastic.
Yeah. For me, I lean heavily on the side of utility. 100%. I mean, this is a personal thing. Like back in playing Dota, and those things, the type of characters that I love to play are utility characters. I buy my wards, I make sure my team's okay, I focus on stunning and fucking people up. Red mage style. Red mage is the way to go. But, yeah, I don't know. To me, there's so much more like, the battlefield can change so drastically with the right use of utility. You know what I mean? I mean, we have an episode where that's a prime example. There's a whole final fight. There's this really big old badass that I was like, alright, this dude is stacked. He's already enlarged. His health is huge. He's going to do a shit ton of damage. And then along comes Annalicia and just reduce. And that just knocked down like 3 of his passives that I attached to being enlarged. And just that one little use of utility is incredible. Like, yeah, I don't know. To me, I love that. Like, my favorite schools in Magic would probably be, if you look at like a wizard's school of conjuration, and the abilities that he gets from that, like benign transposition, and it's all these things where inside the right moment utilized changes everything. Because a strong spell can deal a lot of damage. A good utility spell can get your whole team to do a shit ton of damage. And so that's where I mean. How about yourself?
Yeah, and not even just, and I'm kind of along with you. I mean, obviously you can have a great combat spell that just messes everything up, like a fireball that takes out half of the enemies.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes. But even because the ones you mentioned, I would call those more support spells than even utility. But I've seen someone use like minor illusion in combat, and it actually be beneficial, whether it's a distraction or it's a 5-foot space you can create an illusion in. So make a box that someone can hide behind if you're in a room with no cover, stuff like that. It's support for yourself or other characters, but it can be very useful because as long as the enemy isn't intelligent enough or doesn't make a high enough investigation, they think that's actually there.
Yeah.
And you can use it as, something useful in combat, even though it doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it can help your rogue hide. If your rogue is crouching down, he's like suddenly inside a crate, no one will ever expect it. That's an immediate sneak attack. Or, I mean, that's actually really clever. Like, if you have a room with multiple doors and people are piling in, you could just fade one of the doors to look like a wall. The rest of the parts, now they have to, like, funnel their way in if they're dumb enough.
There's not, I don't know if there's really, I guess, I'm trying to think if I prefer one or the other. I think the utility and support spells, I tend to lean more toward just because they require a lot more creativity to use in combat, or to even avoid combat. A well-placed charm person or friend spell or something that gets you past something, or a dominate creature spell. While very active and offensive for some of those spells, like dominate, you can still entirely avoid a combat sometimes.
Yeah.
I've witnessed. I've been in combats where that is, or before combat where that's been the case. But I was watching just the other day an old one-shot that someone ran, where the final boss fight for the one-shot was completely circumvented because of a charm ability that the DM wasn't ready for.
Dude.
And it just got around the whole thing, and it was great. It was fantastic.
It's an incredible one.
Yeah. You know what? If the player's creative enough, let them have it.
Absolutely. That's
good stuff.
Because it is. I mean, School of Enchantment is very slept on. As a wizard.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because that's actually pretty fucking great.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a beautiful... Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I don't know that I could even pick a school of magic that I prefer, because they all have their own unique uses. I think there's a lot of great sleeper spells in Illusion, but Enchantment's fantastic too. You were about to say something about Enchantment specifically. What was that? Or did I derail your...
No, I got it. I picked it up. I've got a memory of a goldfish, but swim fast. There's a moment in Critical Role where they were spoilers for season 2. I think it's like 60 episodes in or something. But when they're up against the Laughing Hand and they're currently running, the Laughing Hand is chasing them through the forest, and Ford was just able to charm them enough just to stop his attack and just be like, "Fuck off that way." And it just left, and they were actually able to catch up and do something somewhat significant without being mauled to death. Yeah. Yeah, and it does say a good face on your team goes a far way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, a well placed command spell. It's probably what he used in that situation was run away or flee. It's got to be one word, but you can get really creative with that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And I've definitely seen command used very effectively several times. I've used it myself. Both for my characters and against my players.
Yeah, of course.
It can be very useful. And feel free, anybody that's watching, if you have opinions or thoughts or questions, toss that into the chat. We normally say that at the top and completely forgot.
Yeah, sorry. Just super excited. I'm especially excited for spells because come November, I'm booked out November. I'm spending the whole of it just reading Strixhaven.
Oh yeah.
I'm so fucking excited for Strixhaven Curriculum of Chaos. I'm so goddamn excited. I texted Bessie. I was like, so the next adventure is coming out in November. It's basically Harry Potter in the D&D, and she was like, let's do this. So. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for it, so I'm glad we're talking about spells, because now and then speaking of which, let's get a little bit of ambiance. What you might hear inside the background here, ladies and gentlemen, is music by our very own Michael Gelfie. This is called The University of Magic, Part 1.
Are we going to hear it, or is it just for them?
No. Oh, wait, do you not hear it?
No.
It's because
that's all right.
It's because we're on Discord.
That's fine.
Oh man. That's upset. I'll send it to you.
That's all right. I'll listen to it later.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Okay, great.
As long as they can hear it and the levels are right, so that it's not overwhelming our voices. But yeah.
Oh yeah, just have it slowly increasing in the background. All right.
Good to have. Trek for days through a swamp without prestidigitation to clean your trousers. That's a great spell. That's a fun
That is a great spell. I was playing during the quarantine. I had the pleasure of playing as a Roll20 campaign, Curse of Strahd. And I was playing a half-orc rogue, half-orc assassin, which was just so deadly for damage. And he usually loves his beer. He comes from the slums. He's not used to. He doesn't really have a fancy taste for things. And so we got to a tavern and he's just asking for a beer, and they didn't have any beer in Barovia because there's no sun to grow wheat. All they had was like really disgusting meager wine, and put him into a near murderous rampage. However, the bard, clever enough, was able to use prestidigitation on each glass of wine that my character had to make it taste like beer. And so, anytime somebody fucked with the bard, I'd be like, don't worry, dude, I got him. I'll kill him. I kept him safe so long in that campaign because of that.
That is a really unique use of that spell. I like it because it's one of those a sensory effect part of the spell. That's cool.
Yeah,
never thought about that. It's amazing how creative you can be with some spells like that.
Right, and it's like that came definitely down to that player. That's knowledge of a spell to be creative and not to be like, this is a full use to win Dungeons and Dragons or whatever. No, none of that.
Oh yeah.
This guy just knew what the spell did, and he had the great time of his life doing it, and it made the characters closer as a result.
I'm all for picking spells based on what your character would actually choose, not what's the most powerful build or whatever. Which people want to play like that. That's fine. I'm not going to give people crap. It's not how I play.
Yeah, exactly. Do you?
I embrace negative stats and spell choices for my character's personality, things like that.
Sure.
I'm all about that. I've done a multi-class that made no strategic sense because it made sense for my character.
That's great. I mean, there's been a lot. D&D Beyond, I think, has released a few articles about like multi-classing with this particular class, and it's like how to multi-class with an artificer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's two people. Stats-wise, that make no sense going into, but it's cool. It's fucking cool to do it. Like,
it's a game. Have fun.
Exactly that. Unless your DM is a dick, at which point, like, sorry, man. Complete with us.
Absolutely. My solid rules for D&D are have fun, don't be an asshole.
There we go.
That's it. Have fun, don't be an asshole. Sums most of it up.
Yeah. And then I'll add ask questions.
Oh, ask questions. Oh, yeah.
I think in regards to the two of us TMing, I think we're both very adamant with players to be like, hey, if you've got questions, ask. It's a game. Like, I'm not putting you on a fucking show. What do they call it?
Yeah, I'm sorry. What
like
did you say?
Jeopardy, like competition show or whatever. You're not on that. You're playing a game. Relax.
Yeah, and if you feel like that you're the one person at the table that doesn't have a full grasp on stuff, number one, you're wrong. The others just may look like they know what they're doing. Yeah. But number two, it doesn't matter. It's not. No one's going to judge you for asking questions, and if they do, that person doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, 100%. Fuck them.
What else? Let's see. So, is there any other questions? Not at the moment.
All right. So, I mean, we could talk about just how diverse some of the spells get through all the classes.
Like who has access to certain spells and things like that?
Exactly that. Because, I mean, there's a huge difference between, like, what a cleric is able to obtain. And then, of course, we have Sorcerer and Warlock, which are two whole different ways of, like, handling their spells. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know, we could just go through, and then, I don't know, we could talk about thematics and nerd out into lore, which I would like, because I think bards are fascinating to talk into about how they have, how they obtained their bardic energy, because, like, a warlock, people get it, and people can be extremely creative with how they made this pact with this other being, right? But to me, a bard and how they obtain their music, because I mean, they call it level 3 at college, and so there is something leading them into that. But there's something about like an accidental bard. To me, is a fascinating creation. Like, what happened at some point inside this person's life that they are so in tune with frequency, they're so in tune with like on a magical level, that they spurred some kind of creative magic behind it. Or what about the performance is able to like bring it about? Because there's so many ways. Like, I played with people who they wanted to like create there was a specific language that they spoke, and the reason why that they were able to have bardic energy is because they sang inside this ancient language. So it's kind of like how Skyrim teaches you shouts, like you're speaking an old draconic sort of voice, and that's how he was able to do bardic magic, and that's what made him special, and that's why he has bardic magic. And I love that. I was like, that is a creative use of that. So anyway, sorry, that's me done rambling. I find that stuff fascinating.
No, you're absolutely right. It's a unique one. That idea of like seeing the magic of kind of how the world works as music, and in a unique kind of way. I think that's interesting. I had have a player that there's almost was like more of a sorcerer origin to their bard, which they ended up without intent, or maybe that seed was planted accidentally, multiclassing into sorcerer later on.
Oh, wow.
But they were Azamar. They had this like angel, kind of celestial guide and guardian that in their backstory helped them kind of unlock their vision to something they were already passionate about, and that's music, and being able to see how to weave it with magic. So they had almost a sorceress background, and like I said, ended up multi-classing into sorcerer, which was not the intent of that background, but totally made sense.
Yeah.
Bards, all the sources of magic are, I like how they are still unique despite having repetition of like what spells you can cast. A lot of them are shared over several classes, but the wizard having they just learned magic through book studies, and can be more creative than that. The sorcerer's origins having these gifts given for various reasons. The warlock pact, one of the most interesting backgrounds I ever heard anybody create was actually a unique warlock pact. So you can get real creative with that. Yeah, he had kind of getting off of spells here, but he had I don't remember the exact situation, but their family had been cursed or killed or attacked by a fiendish entity, a devil or a demon, and he had managed to capture them in like a dungeon and cellar in magical restraints, and was forcibly siphoning magic through this pact from them as almost like a punishment against his own patron for what he did to their family. So he was using their power.
That's
wow, that is a way to turn that around. Holy crap.
Absolutely. Not only that, but now there's this physical thing that is attached to his power, trapped somewhere inside the world, that at some point, that could come up. That's very cool. That is very impressive, actually.
I thought it was very unique, very interesting way of thinking of it, because normally the power is the other direction, but seeing it that way, that dynamic that's a great way of thinking of it. The guy who thought it up had been playing for a long time.
I'm sure.
So he's had, I'm sure, dozens, if not hundreds of characters. So
we got 2 questions inside the chat, actually.
Yeah, a couple questions. Yeah.
From good old-fashioned Mariachi Dan and Riptide. Alright, so I guess first one is, what's your preferred school of magic?
I briefly touched on that before. I kind of took the coward's way out and said I don't.
Fair enough.
You were mentioning enchantment, though, right?
I mean, I really do enjoy enchantment. For me, it's enchantment or illusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, you nailed it on the head. The illusion is just so fucking great to, like, be creative with that. And you can change everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, let me double check one. I've got my book here.
Sure.
spell just to make sure. There's a couple of, even at higher level, but specifically some of the lower level spells you can get. Yeah, like Phantasmal Force.
Yeah.
And it just, that can totally mess up a combat for the enemies that you're fighting. It just completely neutralizes them. Hypnotic Pattern.
Yes.
I've had fights completely stopped because of Hypnotic Pattern. Just crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Illusions. I don't know that it's slept on too much, but I don't see as much of it being used in combat. And then, but when it is and when it's successful,
it's dangerous.
It's fight ending. It's pretty powerful.
I mean, there's also some great spells like Distort Value that come out of Illusion, where you can, and just the framing of it. Do you need to squeeze a few more gold pieces out of a merchant as you try to sell weird octopus statue you liberated from a chaos temple? Like, come on, that sentence alone makes that spell fun enough.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, but they all have. I mean, there's some of the necromancy spells are just so cool because of how creepy they are. There's some really great stuff in there. Abjuration's got some awesome. It's got a lot of protective spells. That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
I will say that I don't typically trend toward evocation because it's all about just like, let's blow everything up and not be too creative.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean,
it's great. The spells are essentials, but yeah,
they are. And I mean, there's some uses behind it. Like, actually, let me just permit me 1 second. Just to read the fine text of one of the abilities from the evocation thing, because it's oh yeah, so it's a particular evocation spell because like you are able to mend and thin an evocation spell, and once again, that's cool. I actually had an evocation wizard during another Roll20 game during the quarantine because I played a lot. And just one of the things I created an evocation wizard with a criminal background, and he used to be an arsonist. And that was the thing. It was just really fucked up in the head, and he just loved burning things, especially when he hated the people there. And so there were just moments where I just walk around the town and take notes of places that belonged to people that I hated, and I was they have to give a shit.
Mean, it's evocation as a school of magic to take as a wizard is it's fantastic. It's hard to beat when you can set off a fireball in the middle of a room and not worry about any of your teammates because you can just bend the fire around them.
Exactly.
And even at lower levels, being able to do the same thing with burning hands, that cone and curving it around people.
Yeah.
I mean, that spell is designed that way, so. Yeah, it's really powerful, but you have to be really careful with it. Well, the School of Evocation just throws it out the door. You don't have to be careful with it. Just blow shit up.
Exactly that.
So it
kind of speeds up the tactics a bit.
For me personally, it's a little bit I don't know, boring or one-trick pony, I suppose. But that's just my own taste in how spellcasting goes.
Exactly that. I mean, it takes us back to the beginning where we're like, what do we prefer? Do we like to aim more towards utility or... Yeah, but then again, like you said, it's not useless to just have a fireball in the middle and then just bend everything around everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know... I was trying to think, one of the questions I was possibly going to bring up if we had an opening for it was, are there any spells you think are useless? And realistically, every spell has some spot you could use it in. Sometimes it's a really specific moment, like say True Strike.
Yeah, or
I don't think I'll ever. Blade Ward's that's okay. I mean,
it's
you
great.
Get some resistance, but
early level games, a well-placed Blade Ward can save your ass.
It can. But that's the whole thing. While they're not maybe the most useful, especially in a long game kind of situation. Yeah. Like sleep. Sleep is a spell that's amazing early on, but it gets pretty useless later on.
Yeah.
Unless you time it just right.
Exactly.
Or like they're about to die, sleep.
Exactly that. Or combat, you're trying to kidnap somebody, or a beast, to bring back a beast alive. Or you're hired to find a criminal alive or dead. Alive gets more money, kind of thing. Or you're just in shit. Guards are storming an area. You don't want to be the person that kills guards. There's been a misunderstanding. Mass sleep. Get the fuck out. Yeah.
I will say I did have, I think at level 14, I had 6 level 14 characters actually use sleep to an advantage in combat.
Okay.
And not something I necessarily anticipated, but proving myself wrong with an example. Every spell has its place somewhere. It's just some of them, you're probably not going to see me picking them.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah. You said we had another question, right?
Yeah, sorry, we did. Best caster, wizard or
sorcerer? Me, I like them both. They're both great. I have a little bit of a bias towards sorcerer because it's the first class I ever played.
That's true.
But I love the idea that they are so in tune with the magic itself that they can mess with it. The splitting of the spell, the empowering it, the quickening of it. Quicken spell is such a fantastic meta magic.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I love the amount of spells you can do with a wizard, and that you can specialize in certain types and all that. It's great. I love the wizard class, but I'd have to land on the sorcerer side just because I like how in-depth that relationship with the magic is and how much they can do with the magic, I guess.
So I'd actually be on the opposite side. I'd lean wizard. I draw a sorcerer. Meta magic, I think, is fucking gorgeous, and I think it's awesome, and it's enough to make like, oh, it's another spellcaster class really stand out to be like, no, they're special. They handle magic very differently. But for me, I think wizard is fucking incredible simply because number one, I love lore. So if it ever comes down to like searching someone else, hunting down another mage to look for magic. Perhaps a magic school. Maybe there's an adventure that's going to come out where there's a magic school. I don't know. But I do love the concept of having a fuck ton of spells because once again, utility is the way to go. Yeah. And I love the idea of like prepping that far ahead. And then, I don't know, there's been multiple campaigns where, just through their studies, wizards and the DM have a great relationship of creating spells. And balancing them together because this wizard has been studying it for so long and they understand the niches of it. And I love components. I like the idea of like, oh, I need a shot for these rare items. It takes me back to like playing like Final Fantasy, like 7 and 8, and you're trying to hunt down specific things, mugging that one enemy, and you're spending 2 hours just waiting for the item to get there. But I love hanging onto those to be like, great, now I've got that item, like it's complete, and I don't know. So I do love
you're not the type of wizard who just does the easy out with an arcane focus.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe there's something fun that I could come up with. But I like the concept of components. I just like stuff.
There's the components you have to get, the valued components and all that. That's definitely interesting. But the average, a bit of fleece or dog poop or whatever the hell you need for it.
Yeah.
Guano's one of them. I don't.
Guano it's for a wall of fire. You need a guano.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. There's Barry's. I'm just seeing there's some back and forth here. I'm seeing if there's another actual question.
Oh, we do actually. What's the best introduction you've done for a character, either for your own or someone else's? All right, so it's not about spells, but that's a fun question.
Come on, Mariachi Dan. We're talking about spells.
Fuck Mariachi Dan. God, expect an email.
Best introduction you've done for a character or someone else's.
That's tough.
Best intro.
Yeah. Ooh, that's gonna take a while.
Yeah, you just stumped us both.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
Welcome to an hour of Casey and Dylz going, huh?
Yeah. I mean, not to like, hey, go watch our stream, but from this weekend, Colleen's character kind of bursting in was caught me off guard. That was great.
Oh yeah.
I got a little bit as a player the sense of what was going on.
Sure.
But the decision was to kind of wait. So
yeah.
Borland went with it, I guess.
No, of course.
Not excited about it, but was like, all right, we'll wait. But the intro was great, and then the way she kind of burst in caught me and my character off guard. So that was great.
Yeah.
That was a great character introduction.
Oh, good. Yay.
Not going into too much detail, so people can go and watch and get it themselves. So that doesn't help answer the question too much.
Sure.
Otherwise, I don't know.
Yeah.
Character introductions. So much of when I've started like campaigns for a party and everything, you pre-establish how everyone knows each other.
Yeah.
So the characters really a huge I'm coming in here into the moment kind of situation. I did have it's not really an introduction, but I did have a great moment where a couple of players had been out for months and months and months and months.
Mm-hmm.
And when they came back, we worked it out to surprise the group. So they didn't know, and we were playing via Zoom.
Yeah.
So I was able to have them kind of waiting in the wings, and then when they opened a door, they logged on and were there, and everybody freaked out. Not really cool. Not a character intro, but it was a great moment of surprise for the characters coming back.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think that definitely warrants validity behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, man. I mean, I don't have anything that fantastic, but if I had to choose one so far, it'd probably be Remy. Oh, damn, I'm getting heavy light in my face here. Give me a second.
Oh, the NPC. Yeah. No, that was a good intro.
Yeah, I like that Grayson was not expecting him that kind of quickly, that he was there the whole time, and it was nice just to plant that seed, because now he's like, fuck, what else has he been watching?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that character.
Was good.
That or Charlie, because there was lots of role-playing with you guys. And every time there's role-playing with you guys, I think that introduction goes great.
No, Charlie's great. I like that character a lot.
Hey.
I don't know if we can afford to keep him around, but no, he's great.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows what happens with you guys?
Yeah, we'll find out. Part of me, Casey, feels bad if we did, just for his buddy that comes along with him. Like, man, we're gonna get into some crazy shit. I don't want that guy dying.
Yeah, you guys will come up with a deal of some kind, I'm sure.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, NPCs. I've had some decent NPC entrances. I was thinking more in the lines of player characters. But yeah, I've had a few of those. Yeah, I guess the question could go either way, but I've had a few of those that I thought were pretty fun, pretty cool. Bad guys, things like that. Usually a villain entering in some epic fashion.
Sure.
Overpowering the group or walking. I had one early on for my campaigns. The first time they see him, he pretty much just ignores them.
Yeah.
They tried to attack him, and he just looked at him like, "What are you doing?" and just left. It was, it's one of those like, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the kind of guy we're dealing with. There've been a couple of those good ones. I haven't personally had like a big one of my characters enter in any amazing fashion.
Yeah.
But
all right.
Have any other spell questions in the chat?
That's a good point. Yeah, some spell.
Feign Death. Feign Death is a spell that I wrote down when I was thinking useless spells. I had True Strike and Feign Death. Feign Death has utility. It does, and there are definitely situations where you can use it, but they are super specific situations. No spell is completely useless, but
that's true.
There are situations, like really unique situations for Feign Death.
Yeah.
Including, according to Dan, great for avoiding mother-in-laws.
That is
Yep.
fair. Yeah, you got
Yep.
it. Nailed on the
I
head,
think
bud.
Oh yeah, he's talking about that moment when they came back. Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
One of my players in the chat.
Yeah, some reflection happening back there.
Yeah, that was a good. Heat metal is underrated. It is. I definitely have one player in one of my campaigns that 100% knows how useful it is. So I see it frequently.
Yeah.
One of the first questions I'll get on some, not every combat, but a lot of the comments is, "Are they wearing anything metal?"
Of course, there's.
Yeah, it's a great spell, especially because you just kind of get to keep using it each turn.
Yeah.
And if it's armor, they're not taking that off in combat. I mean, they can, but generally speaking, the rules about donning and doffing armor is it takes about a minute.
Yeah. Oh, about a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's actually a special armor. I want to say it's in Xanathar's that you can doff or don with an action. See, Xanathar,
really?
you got some good stuff here. I'm going to go off on a complete tangent on this.
Yeah. Well, while you're looking this up, I just want to respond to a very quick comment over here. That is 100% true. It's all about Bless and Bane.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah.
Good lord.
Bless and Bane are like two of my favorite spells, and they're first level spells.
Yeah.
They're amazing. They're absolutely fantastic spells, and they stay useful to level 20.
Yeah.
They're great. They're fantastic spells.
Yeah.
And they, unless I'm greatly mistaken, they are scalable too, casting at higher levels.
They are. There are a couple of times where it's like each level, however, it's like it keeps it the same bonus. It just you can target more people.
More and more creatures, yeah.
Yeah, you do have to wait for a couple of level bumps before you can start really empowering it, but still, if it stays at T4 forever, it's fucking incredible.
Right, you cast it at 4th level or something, and you've got your whole party covered. That's great. Or Bane, in the other way, doing that to the enemies can be so dangerous.
Yep.
How many of those times where you're just like, oh, it just barely hits? Well, nope, it doesn't.
Exactly that. Or, somebody's got a big area effect coming up, and they're about to launch that out, and they've got a plan. You could be like, okay, I'm going to lower every enemy's deck saves by 4, possibly, before that big old fireball comes along.
Right.
Yeah.
Are there any fun spell combinations you've seen combining one or more effects between one or more characters?
Yeah, okay. This is going to be fun. I mean, we just talked about a great combo right there. 2 characters, one does Bane, one does Blaze. You got a Forge, you got a Cleric, make it happen, maybe.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of spells that would do that, because a specific instance, I can't think of one at the moment, though I might, if I continue talking and not shutting up, I might think of one. But I'm trying to think of something that might...
I mean, you can always just play with elements. Depending on how well your DM, allows certain things like that. But things like Shocking Grasp and Create or Destroy Water is always a great one. Wall of Water and then Wall of Water and Create or Destroy Water because you can change water to ice. And so you can just block off an entire area, and then have it. Because a thick ice, that's going to take a shit ton for people to carve through.
Yeah.
Right for that. Especially if you're like a Triton wizard, you start off with Wall of Water at like 3rd level or something crazy.
Yeah, I'd have to. Yeah, that's true.
5th, I think.
You know what level spells those are? Because you do have like Wall of Ice that completely takes care of that, but that's like a 5th or 6th level spell.
Oh yeah, that's much. Yeah. I mean, Create Water at Clerics, you can get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Create or Destroy Water. Yeah, it's first.
Oh, so it's okay. I get what you're saying now. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think depending on how the DM rules environmental things, using like water spells in conjunction with like a Call Lightning or something, you could get extra effect to certain to the electricity of the lightning. Again, depending on how the DM wants to rule something like that. Yeah, I'm I'm trying to think of an actual in-game experience I've noticed. There's one. What is it? Is it Ray of Enfeeblement? One that like gives
knocks these strengths down.
Yeah, you could pair that with a spell that would. Is it Ray of Enfeeblement? I'm trying to remember. Pulling out all my books again.
Sure.
Because instead of just searching on Google or whatever, I've got to take a couple minutes to look in here.
Sure. I know. One of my favorite combos was a Dragonborn Alchemist, and then you get your alchemy jug, and you can just start creating oil by the gallons, putting those into little bottles.
Yeah.
And Catapult, which is a fantastic spell, is to just launch those off, and just cover everybody in oil, and then one, fireball or flame breath, and you just ignited the entire team. Oh
yeah, that's not a combo spell though. Sorry, I was looking up that. That's a fantastic idea. I swear there's another one that gives you some type of vulnerability to spells. It's like a cleric ability or a cleric spell that gives you the next thing they're vulnerable to that all damage on their next attack or something. Now that's not necessarily a specifically spell combo kind of situation, but there are spells designed to set up kind of alley-oop damage.
Sure.
In a way.
I guess any kind of area of effectability and levitate is really great. If you can successfully just keep someone in an area inside a cloud of daggers, or a poison cloud or something, you just and then they're just staying there, just getting cut up.
Yeah, there was I'm going to forget the exact spells, but there was one I heard about. It was a combo I heard about a long time ago when I was first starting to play, and I barely understood what anything did.
Sure.
Someone was talking about doing the Cloud Kill spell, and then encasing the people in a wall of ice or a wall of force or something like that, and just keeping them inside of it while it just destroys them. That is a heck of a combo.
That's fucked up.
that is really messed up.
That's beautiful though. I'll give you that. Yeah, let's have a look at Cloud Kill. Yeah, where you create fog. When a creature enters it for the first time, they take a fuck ton of damage. Yeah, it's just a gorgeous shit ton amount of damage.
Yeah, and if you're able to contain it, it doesn't move anywhere. It just stays there. Because part of the spell is it moves away 10 feet away from you every turn. But if you've got it encased in a wall of force, it's not going anywhere. It just stays in there.
Exactly that. Yeah.
So they just start their turn and keep taking poison damage over and over and over again.
Which is 5d8.
Yeah, 5d8
poison. On failed, and then half on a successful.
Yeah, and how long do you concentrate on it? 10 minutes.
Yep.
It's not a one-off or even a 1 minute, which would be a long time in combat.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some brutal combos out there. I knew if I talked long enough, I'd think of one.
Oh, of course.
Floating
do you have another question, though?
Scratches. Yeah.
Alright. How important is an individual's magical aesthetic to you? Do you go out of your way to describe color and sound of how a character's magic presents itself? Guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty.
I wish I thought to do it more often than I do. I like if the characters did it more for themselves. It gives it a unique quality to it.
Sure. Yeah.
But as a DM, I like to do it too. I don't do it as often as I could. I try and do it with the bad guys when I think about it. But sometimes I just get so involved in the combat, I forget about being colorful with the with the descriptions.
Absolutely.
But yeah, 100%. I think it's great. I think it pulls you into the moment more.
Mm-hmm.
I think it gives more, I don't know, higher quality to the actual, like, I cast, Ray of Frost to this person.
Yeah.
Okay. It does this much damage. Well, yeah, this is what happens. Like, you have this sorcerer's background where you're connected to dragons, and the Ray of Frost forms like a snaking dragons around your arm and beams out. Just little stuff like that. Just making up crap on the fly. But it's not that difficult to add that spice to it, and I think it adds so much more to the experience. So yeah, I'm all about flair to magical effects and spells and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, like you said, if it's ever done for a character on a character's behalf, it's just for words of encouragement. This is something. This is how you can sort of describe it, and they're like, "Oh, cool! So this is how I can be creative or whatever." You encourage them that way. But I mean, Warren's character was a great example.
Yeah,
I think of that with his gauntlet and how he's able to shape magic is because of this gauntlet that moves the aspects of magic inside his very own hand, and it summons it that way. Which I thought was...
you do a great job of, and it's like when I'm a player, my creativity goes out the window for some of that stuff. It's just part of you. The IQ drop from DM to player is just staggering. But some of the ways you describe the ghostly effects when Borla's in her rage and she has the ancestral guardians. I think that's a really nice touch when you do that. And I don't think to do it in the moment, and I feel like Borla doesn't feel like she has much control over what they're doing anyway.
Sure. Hey, for now, she's getting more in touch.
Yeah, no, she is.
Yeah.
It almost feels more appropriate that you're describing it, because she's just like, this is awesome.
That's what you get for having a really cool character. It's I don't know, it's easy, but yeah, no, I'm all about the magical aesthetic. If I'm creating a character, trust there's a specific way that they cast spells that's ideal to them. Uniqueness to me, if I have a character of my own, is
Bedlam Beersy gives a great example that that's one thing the spell Spirit Guardians and Spiritual Weapon and stuff like that. I always like to ask the player when they cast those spells, well, what does it look like? What do your guardians look like?
Yeah.
What is your spiritual weapon? What do you have an axe? You have a warhammer? Is it a pipe? What do you got going on there?
Sure.
And the spiritual guardians as well can be unique to you. That's a great way to give flavor to the magic.
Absolutely. Yeah, I understand.
And I don't think it's description of what you're doing is unique to spells either. Describing how you're attacking someone. As a fighter or a monk or a barbarian or whatever, I think that adds to the experience as well.
Absolutely.
Not just for you, but for the players.
Yeah.
Around you, like, oh, you're doing that? That's awesome.
Exactly that.
Yeah. Okay.
Alrighty, man. We're coming up to an hour. Is this something that we want to finish off with at all? We're at an hour already. Fuck me.
Yeah. And there's still plenty of stuff we could talk about spells on.
Yeah,
like
this might be a two-parter or a multi-parter.
One of many, or we'll talk about other things and come back to spells at a later time, so we're not doing it every week. Yeah, if you haven't already looked at it, I definitely recommend at some point checking out the errata that they bring out periodically on spells.
Yeah.
Where they'll release, like, okay, this is what the spell actually is supposed to say now, even though the player's handbook doesn't say it that way. Because we figured out things about the spell, and players have said things, we've discovered things, and you look and you realize, oh, that thing we've argued about, they have an answer for us.
That's true. That's great.
I definitely recommend looking up the errata for stuff.
Yeah.
And it's as easy as looking up online, just errata 5e. There'll be PDFs and stuff people have full of the stuff. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what was one spell. Contagion, I think, was a big spell that had a weirdly worded, is the guy poisoned while you have it cast on them? Do they not get poisoned until after they fail 3 times? All of this. And they did end up changing the wording on it through an errata that says when it hits them, they are poisoned. And then they make those other saves for the other effects. So if something seems weird about a spell,
it seems very specifically edited. It's like your touch inflicts disease. Make a melee spell attack against a creature within reach. Next line. On a hit, the target is poisoned. Next line, and then it goes on to the rest of the spell.
Yeah. So it didn't used to say that.
Yeah. So this seems like very clearly edited.
Yeah.
Like
it didn't. Edited. Yeah. It didn't specifically say on a hit they are poisoned.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting to see the adjustments that are made. They did one for the Healing Spirit spell, which was a little overpowered initially, and now is slightly underpowered, I think. But that's just me.
That's right.
But yeah, see, I mean, there's tons and tons of stuff to talk to, so I'm sure we'll address it again.
Of course.
We didn't leave any other questions to end on.
We have one more that we can answer real quick.
Yeah, we'll end on one more.
What are some good spells to incorporate into magical items to give your players? Ooh. Okay, so we'll get out of the way the basics of like detect magic and things like that.
Oh, you're talking about giving them something that gives like goggles of detect magic or something like that.
Yeah. So a spell that's incorporated into a magic. Well, I assume. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Mary Ashton. But I assume that's a spell that is incorporated into an item that you give a player.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty. I think not necessarily a spell, but doing enchantments that add elemental damage to items and weapons is great.
Yeah.
That's always a fun little thing to do. That add extra spells in there.
I mean, it's a cantrip, but it could be really cool. I mean, I guess you could use Storm Whip or whatever, but like a lightning lure on a melee weapon is just a cool idea. Like as a bonus action, try to bring someone towards you just to slice it. It's a small thing, but just that's the idea that you've got this weapon that just turns into a lightning whip, and you use that to turn it into.
Yeah, you can attach that, have an actual weapon be the whip, but it has that when you activate it, it has a lightning lure to it. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Which could be really dope.
Yeah, you could do. Oh man, I'm thinking now that you've got me in that thought, of thinking like a warhammer that has catapult or something like that, where you hit them and just blast them away. Something like that would have to be like a once a day kind of use, but
it'd be really cool.
Yeah,
a shovel that has catapult. So you just send it flying like that, or like a rake, like a garden hose, so you could like just send carrots flying across. That's just a practical. That's just practical. That'll make work life so much easier. You can just send your crops all the way back to the store. It's so much quicker.
Yeah, just for you can do something just for utility or whatever. You have a washcloth that has prestidigitation on it, so you just clean yourself some breezing.
There we go.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I had it. Oh yeah, like a dagger that had like. I don't know, like on a critical or something, you could encode thoughts, which would be really interesting. So you can literally steal people's memories, stab them, steal your memories. Especially if like you're a character who's really good at impersonating people, or you have the actor feat just to be able to like assassinate somebody, and then all of a sudden you can just.
Detect thoughts where I'm not great at interrogating them, so I'm gonna stab them. Kill them in the process, but detect their thoughts before they die.
Yep, and just steal it.
A thought-stealing dagger. I like that. That's fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun idea. Yeah, I hadn't thought about it too much. I haven't done too many of them myself, homebrew-wise. I've done a few, but not a lot. But now that I'm thinking about it more, I kind of want to incorporate it more.
You're right.
And I know there's a lot of really, really interesting and unique homebrewed items out there that I love to use in campaign, because some people, there's great stuff that's already out there in the official Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, yeah.
They're great, awesome items. But there's some really, really good homebrewed items that are not too ridiculously broken or whatever that are fantastic. And even some of those, if they're at a high enough level, you can give them a crazy item that's artifact level of danger, because I mean you should be throwing pretty crazy enemies at them anyway.
There we go. Exactly that. Yeah, DM's Guild, man. Goes a far way. If you have stuff that you want to do, you send it out to DM's Guild and just be like, hey, man, tearing support for me, is it balanced enough? People are so helpful on DM's Guild.
Yeah, DM's Guild is really good,
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't visited it in a while. I did early on, and I just haven't in a while.
Yeah.
I've just trusted my own ridiculousness, I guess.
That's fair.
But it's useful. I definitely recommend it. It's very good, especially if you're having trouble, I don't know, thinking of being creative with some stuff. DM's Guild is a good place to take a look around.
Yeah, for sure.
I do like that, a pillow with catnap. That's great.
Cute.
That's a fun spell that doesn't get used too often. Catnap is very useful.
I mean, that would sell. You can make a lot of money in the D&D world with that.
I would buy it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Alrighty. That's a great way to end it.
Yeah, pillow with catnap is a great way to end it.
Alrighty. Well, thanks again for doing this, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much with the help of the schedule and everything else. Things have been nuts, but thanks.
Yeah, that's no problem. I'm happy to hop on and chat about this goofy pretend game that we play.
Oh yes, always. All right. Well, thanks, man. I guess I'll be seeing you later this week. So.
Yep. Saturday, usual time and place.
Usual time.
Anything else going on this week?
No. I'll be doing map making later tonight. I'm actually on set.
Right.
Which is really cool. But I'll be doing the map making later tonight.
Nice.
Yeah, but other than that, we'll be back on Saturday, 1:30 p.m. Colleen Kelly will be with us for another episode. Yay! Which will be great. So
if y'all have not watched Colleen's episode yet, please do. It's spectacular. It's fantastic.
It's up on our Twitch and on our YouTube channel. So
nice.
Whatever's easiest for you, go and have a look at it. But other than that, thank you, my man. Thank you, everybody, for the questions. Really appreciate you. See you on Saturday.
See you around, and happy birthday again, Pierre.
Happy birthday, Pierre. We love you, man. Cheers, everybody. I'm going to do that cool whooshy thing.